Welcome back. I'm currently headed over to my Minnesota spot, and I have a north wind around 10 miles per hour, I would say. It's 3:42 p.m. October 30, so the bucks are really starting to light up. And the other day I got a picture of a pretty nice buck on camera, and he had his mouth hanging open, so it's kind of early for that, but maybe that guy comes strolling through and I'll have a nice buck on the ground, hopefully, if I don't miss. But we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. is my arrow. I just hit a stinking stud. And I did a horrible shot on it. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely disgusted, devastated. Oh my stars, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go to my truck. Right, coming out tomorrow morning. I do not want to do anything with that buck. I want him to lay there and hopefully die. I'm hoping I got his gut, but I did not do a good shot. Makes me feel awful. Wow, it's cold outside. Well, if you haven't picked up what I was saying in the woods, probably gonna be shaking too bad. My target buck came in. I knew he was coming because my trail camera sent me a picture of him. And then he was messing around for like 30 minutes. It felt like an eternity. It could have maybe been 10 minutes, but it was a long time. And he was messing around, came within 70 yards, watched two little forkies fight over each other. Or whatever you call it. And then he messed around with some does, went away. Then all of a sudden, he turned around with like 5 minutes left of shooting light and just took a beeline at me. And he walked past the opening I wanted him to stay at. It was 28 yards, I believe. He walked right past there, didn't stop until he was like maybe 32 yards from me, and I had like a 12-inch opening. So I pulled back on him, and it was almost too dark. I had maybe 2 minutes left of shooting light. And then when I pulled back, I stepped on something and he looked straight up at me. And I released, and right when I released, I was like, oh no, that was a bad shot. It's far back. But, of course, then when it's so dark, I barely have any shooting light left and you don't see much. Of course, the worst types of fears go in your mind. Like, what if that was actually a doe I shot at? Even though I clearly saw big old antlers on that guy. And we'll see. Tomorrow morning, me and my brother are coming in here. I saw him bed down. Or I believe he bed down. I'm hoping he fell. I'm hoping it wasn't a bed. I'm hoping he fell. That would be the best case scenario. And hoping he's dead right now, as it's gonna be cold this night. It's already cold. So he'll be perfectly fine. So I'm hoping I got something else that, because he was kind of shaking, you know, like, oh my god, please go down, please go down. But yeah, and then of course I have a GoPro attached to my bow. That sucker died the second I turned it on. Did not realize it was low battery. So whatever about that. Did not get the shot on film. It would probably been too dark to see, but see you in the morning. Cross my fingers and pray to God that we find that buck. Because if we find that buck, that will officially be the biggest buck of my life. And it'll be pretty hard. If it's the one, if it's Oos, the one I wanted to shoot, the one I've been after all year long here in Minnesota, it will be hard to cover that buck. To cover and get a bigger one than him around this area, because he's probably pushing 150s. He's not that wide. Well, I mean, from his main beam ain't that long, but he's wide and tall. So we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. I mean, if I would have stayed in my stand, I would have had a beautiful shot at him, but it would have been almost too close and he would have probably seen me. But where I was today was awesome. I had so much rutting activity in front of me. Deer were almost it seemed like everywhere I looked there was another deer popped up. But like I said, cross my fingers. Actually, pray to God and cross my fingers that he fell down dead there, and that it is the buck I'm thinking about. Whatever it was a shooter. But I am pretty positive it was Oos. And if it wasn't Oos, it was probably a buck I never got on camera before. But on camera, he looked like Oos. I recognized him immediately. It might be his long-lost brother. But we'll see. See you in the morning. And again, please Please, Lord, help us find that buck.
That backstrap. It might have been her.
It could have been her.
She knew right where it was.
Well, guys, I'm off to work now. You see, we found him. And there was not any tracking to be done because I was driving back there, and before I got to my food plot, I saw him laying there like 10 feet behind my brother-in-law's camera. But unfortunate thing is, I thought I was recording at the last part right before we left about him and saying stuff about him, but I didn't hit the record button. What an idiot. But as you saw, the coyotes got him. Unfortunate. We saved one backstrap off of him, and then of course his head, which I'm the most happy for I've been. I don't know, you guys probably don't realize it, but it's been a absolutely just carousel of just missed opportunities at nice bucks. Last year, I had a huge buck 20 yards from me. He never stepped out, never gave me a shot. They stepped out 50 yards, got my win, and took off. Last time I ever saw him. I missed a bunch of nice bucks in my life. Last year, I didn't shoot at all. Yes, I did shoot at a buck. I unfortunately wounded him, didn't find him ever. Well, and then, so far this year, I am hitting a lucky streak because I can't believe it. I'm 2 for 2 on deer now, 2 shots, 2 deer, and I still had 2 tags, and it's hard to believe that I still have the entire month of November, and that's probably when both of them would get filled because I still have my South Dakota tag, and then I have a South Dakota doe rifle tag. So I'm taking the head into the tag service now. So I hope. So unfortunately, I did not get the kill on camera because my GoPro died like 2 seconds after I turned it on when he was coming in. But then I didn't shoot him until like 30 minutes later because when he was coming in, he didn't come all the way to me until like 5 minutes later shooting. Like he made a beeline right at me, and then he stopped when he was 32 yards from me. So I had like a 12-inch opening, took my chance, smoked him, ran underneath the tree, and when you see the green light, it's my light at knock. He was just standing underneath there. Then he bet it down, or he could have crashed, but I think he bet it the way it looked. So, yeah, I shot my first buck ever. Thank you, Lord. I've been praying and praying and praying and praying for years for it to happen, and it finally happened, and I have a chance for another buck, a big chance for another buck, because last night I had a nice buck show up on camera in South Dakota, so I'm psyched. I'm happy. Who cares about those dumb coyotes? They ate good. I got my antlers. That's all I care about. So I'm at taxiderms now, so you just... Well, there goes a bunch of money out of my bank account. I was just going to do a year amount, and he offered to do a shoulder mount on it. Of course, it costs a lot more money, but this guy, he's getting up there in age. He's older, and he said he's getting very selective, and it takes him a long time to do stuff, so, but he does a very good job. So he is quitting doing shoulder mounts. Backing up out of his driveway. He is quitting doing shoulder mounts on literally everything, but he has a couple deer capes he wants to get rid of. So he said I can have a deer cape for $50, and I was like, screw it, do it. So yeah, it costs around $1,000 to get the mount, but I paid half of it. Another half will pay when I get it back, but that one hurt my bank account. So I shouldn't say it hurt that much, but it was a little expensive. But yeah, I can't wait to get it back now. He said it should be quite a year, but it probably will be sometime in September, October before I get it back. So yeah, stay tuned to my next video, I guess, because that's it. Peace out. Viewer discretion advised. Just saying, if this gets gruesome. Well, it's after work now. It's the evening after most of you probably saw, I shot the biggest buck of my life last night. But I didn't find it until this morning, and the coyotes got him. So I came over to my Minnesota spot here, And I'm gonna pull my trail cameras because there's no point having them here because I'm done back here. My sister didn't get a tag this year here. I'm gonna pull 3 tactic cams back here. Well, 2 of them are mine, one's my brother-in-law. Then I'm gonna take 2 bottom sets off my stand so nobody steals it. But you see, that's my brother-in-law's trail camera. That might be why it wasn't sending many pictures. The antenna's all loose. But the interesting thing is, this is food. Coons destroyed it. This is supposed to be corn. Coons destroyed the entire thing. Next year, it's got the thing gonna look beautiful. But if you go over here, this is nasty. This is nasty. Just saying. That's my buck. It was laying over there when we found it this morning, so something drug it over here. So, yeah, but let me check the blood trail. If there is anything out of the blood trail, well, there's fur. Oh, phew, it stinks. The wind is blowing this way. There's blood. There's fur. So he either went down there or he bet it down over here. I'm not quite sure where I saw the arrow go down. Yeah, I don't see absolutely any blood around here. So he was messing around that stuff right there last night. He came from over there, and I was watching him. He messed around there for a while. Went up there, watched 2 bucks fight down there, not spikes, forkies. Then 5 minutes on the shooting light, he beelined right at me, and I got him with like 2 minutes left. But yeah, he ran over here. I think he actually was over there. I think he actually died where he was standing. That's my deer. Only saved 1 backstrap off of it because everything else was ruined. But I drove all the way back here. By the time I got there, I looked to the side where I thought it was, and I saw antler racks sticking out of the grass. So basically, before the truck was almost in park, I had it. Basically, almost before the truck was in park, I was almost halfway between the deer and the truck already. But yeah, it was in park though, so because my brother Justin was with me because I thought it was gonna be a long track job because a gut shot is usually 400 yards. So that's the first time I had one die that close to my stand, even though he wasn't in my stand. It was further down that way, but he ran like 100 yards as gut shot and died. So it's pretty cool. But since I'm done here in Minnesota, full focus is South Dakota now. So, I need to pull this camera, but yeah, thank you, Lord. Answered prayers. We prayed for years to shoot a buck. We finally did it, and I'm actually glad God did not allow me to shoot a buck for all those years, because if I would have just popped one, I wouldn't realize what the feeling is, because my first year I ever hunted, I missed a buck at 40 yards. So I shot right over his back, which was sad. But I'm glad I did miss him. I'm glad I had to struggle with hunting for years, because the reward was great, and it will be awesome when that buck gets back. So I'm gonna pull this camera off, pull 2 bottom steps off, and I guess peace out for this land over here till next year. I was gonna talk to the landowner, but he's not home. I was gonna tell him just how much I appreciate him allowing me to do this on his land, and that I'll be back next year if I'm lucky and God lets me live another year. So I don't care if someone steals that stand. They can hunt in that. I don't care. But that, yeah, I'm taking the bottom 2 steps off so nobody steals it and hunts it. But this too, I would be pretty mad if this would get stolen, because this ain't no cheap setup here. So shut them off, set them up in South Dakota. So we got there right now. Those things, those wicks absolutely smell like butt cheeks. And I have 2 of those back here. I'm gonna take this one here, because this one here is brand new and it's emptied out. I don't need 2 of them back here, so I'm gonna take that thing. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. I don't think I can use them in South Dakota, so I'm gonna leave it here. Time to take these 2 bottom steps out so nobody can use this stand or steal it. So there we go. Got them off. I struggle with the second one, but there's only 2. Nobody's climbing that drill unless they put tree steps in there. And yeah, pull out the cameras and then peace out, Minnesota. You have been good to me this year. Very good to me.